Welcome back. All right, I don't have a bottle of this next wine to use as a prop, but what I do have is I've got our little atlas, right? So here's France, and all of its wine regions are highlighted here. Bordeaux over here is massive. This is the Loire Valley. Champagne is up here, and then Burgundy is this tiny little sliver right here. So you can see comparatively, it's not very big, and does not make that much wine as a result. Now here's a close-up of Burgundy. Now what we just enjoyed was the Chablis. Chablis is not contiguous with this rest of it. Why it's still associated is more administrative, but that's why these soils up here are so distinct. What we're now going to do is enjoy a glass of Chardonnay as well, with an entirely different character. We're going to go down to the Macon-Pierreclos. This area right here is the Macon-Pierreclos. Makes lovely Pinot Noirs and Chardonnays, but it's much warmer. And you're going to start getting more clay than limestone. There's still limestone in the soil, but it's not that stark topsoil of just straight ancient marine life. There's more of a balance of clay and limestone. And what you'll discover if you get your nose in here, or really it's going to take place on the palate. Well, on the nose, I think you're going to get more fruit notes in this Chardonnay. And then on the palate, there's going to be a little bit more richness. There's a certain nuttiness that I always get to good Côte Chalonnais or Côte Maconnais wines. There's going to be a little bit more viscosity, a little bit more intensity of fruit. It will not be as linear. So the importance of soils are, in Burgundy, we're talking about clay and limestone. And the shape of the wine, how it sits on your palate, how much fruit there is, really its structure, is determined by this combination. And the way to think of it is that limestone is the skeleton and clay is the flesh. So a lot of clay and not much limestone at all, you're going to get a wine that's very Rubenesque, very round, flabby even. A wine from Chablis where you have plenty of limestone and just a little bit of clay, you're going to get a very svelte character. You're going to get a European frame, something rather skinny like I am. And it's all about a balance of those. So in Chablis, in the way that it hits your palate, it feels very linear, very straightforward, almost laser focused. When you get more of that clay soil from the Maconnais, there's going to be more of a roundness on the palate. That's the influence of the soils. Now the temperature, it is further south. It is a little bit warmer down in the Maconnais, and that helps ripen the fruit as well. So more of that rich, ripe apple and pear character starts coming too. Whereas the cooler climate of Chablis gives you that citrus note and more of an underripe pear or a green apple note. So I bring this up to illustrate just those terroir differences, both temperature and soils. It's all Chardonnay, but the confluence of these ingredients determines the character that is there in your glass. So we just had a Vaillant, single vineyard within Chablis with its own character. And now what we have here is in Macon-Pierreclos. Now Beaussière is another single vineyard that doesn't have that first class distinction. Only about 7% of wines within Burgundy have that distinction. But distinguished enough to get what we would call a lieu dit. You get to put the name of that vineyard on the bottle. So there is definitely some prominence here. But the main thing I wanted to point out in this is that idea of soils and temperature determining the character, and you get something that's so radically different. Two Chardonnays, both alike in dignity. However, one is rounder, one is sharper, one is a little underripe, one gives you more plush fruit. Hopefully you enjoy. And I'll be back to talk about the other noble grape, Pinot Noir.